Hello and welcome to the new fresh episode of Revit MEP by BIM Technologies. So in this video, what we are going to learn is you to start with an electrical design, specifically into electrical powered system as well as the lighting system. Now let's see how do you start an electrical project in Revit MEP. So when you start up with a new file, so I go to the project setting, file menu, and I have this new project. Now here it's very important that what templates you select for the electrical design. So I go with the browse option here and I can see that in my Australia folder there are various templates for electrical. So we have an electrical default AUSENU and we have a folder called as systems default. So if you're working with all the disciplines including electrical, including the mechanical, then you can take the systems default AUSENU, or if you are only going with the electrical default, you can select the electrical default AUSEN here. So if I select this template now, I go to a project which is having all the settings for electrical design. So here we have this, when we open this template, we can see that there is an electrical discipline view hierarchy in the project browser, and we have got two folders. One is the lighting and the other is the power. So let's see what exactly we can do with the lighting and the power. But today, now in this video, we are going to learn about the electrical design tools that is available in Revit MEP. So you go to the systems panel over here, and here we have this electrical drop down, and in the electrical panel we have the wires, we have the cable trays, conduits, parallel conduits. You can add the cable tray, conduit fitting, electrical equipments, devices, as well as the lighting fixtures. So when we see the devices that you can add is the electrical fixtures. We can add the communication devices, you can add the data devices like the LAN devices, the fire alarm systems, lighting switches, nurse call switch alarm, and then you have the security device as well as the telephone device. So these are the devices that you can add. But before we start with the electrical design, we will learn about the electrical settings that we have, and then we will learn about the electrical equipment in the next video. So when we start with, let's say if you are going to make a power plan, so you have an architectural model, definitely I look forward for it. And then over here, whatever the power systems that you are going to add, especially the electrical equipment, the switches, sockets, and the wiring has to be done in the power plan, in the power subdisciplines. Anything with the lighting, you need to work on the lighting plan, whether the floor plan or with the ceiling plan. So here let's go with first understand about the electrical settings. So here you can see that there is a button over here and it opens the electrical settings. So in this video we are going to understand about the different settings that is involved before you start the electrical project. So here we have this hidden lines. So there is an option called draw hidden MEP hidden lines, line styles. So it talks about the hidden lines in the settings in the project. Then we have the general, like connector separator, what would be the symbol, electrical data style, whether you're going to go with the voltage number of poles or load, and whatever the option that you select, how the circuit description shall be made while you're creating the circuit naming by phase, you can change the name 1 to 3 or ABC, capitalization for the load names, either from the source parameter or from the upper case or the initials that you have, and then you have circuit sequencing and circuit rating. Then comes to the angles. This is angle for the conduit. While you're creating the conduit or the cable tray, what is the fitting angles that you would be having? You can have the use any angle, set an angle increment or the specific angle. Then comes to the wiring settings. The wiring settings talks about the value of the ambient temperature of the wires, gap of wiring crossings, hot wire tick marks. So if you want to have the tick marks, so you can have different types of symbols ready for the neutral, brown and the hot wire. Slanted line across tick marks, so you can have a slanted line. Then show tick marks, yes, for the home runs. Definitely I wanted to have the tick mark. Maximum voltage drop for branch circuiting wire setting is sizing is 2%. You can change this values, arrow of multiple circuit home runs, home run arrow style. So there are various kinds of settings that you do with the annotation. Then comes the wiring size. This is very important. It has two options, the correction factor and the ground conductors. While you are selecting the wiring size, you have got the materials. You can select different types of materials. Based on that, you can set the temperature. You can also create temperature table over here. You can add the temperature table, insulation type, and so on. And then you can create the ampacity for the wiring. For 11 ampere, the size is 1 mm, diameter 1.1, and it is, while you're sizing the wires, you can use it for sizing also. So you have got various ampacities you can define. If you want to add new ampacity, you need to add the ampacity, wire size, and the diameter. Similarly, for the correction factor, you can add the new correction factor over here for the material you have, and you can delete the correction factor if you have any kind of correction factor that you want to add. The ground conductors for the materials, different materials, you have got the different values. The type of wiring, you can add type of wiring. The type of wiring that we have currently is given over here in the default. In the template, you can add a wiring, you can add the material of the wiring, you can add the temperature rating, the insulation, the maximum size, neutral, multiplier, and so on. Similarly, for the voltage definition, you can add a voltage definition. You can add the voltage definition, have the value of the voltage written over here, and the minimum voltage and the maximum voltage that you want. So this is something regarding the voltage definition that you set while you are started the work. Distribution system, you can add distribution system. You can name the distribution system with a 3-phase or a single phase. The configuration, you can set the number of wires that you want, and the line to line voltage that you want to have, then line to ground voltage that you want to have. You can set these values over here, and you can create the name over here. For the cable tray settings, again you have the annotation size, the rise drop symbols. You have like what are the symbols that you have for the cable trays, and the sizes of the cable tray you can define. Similarly, for the conduit settings, the rise drop symbology and the size. The next comes the load calculations over here. You have got different load classifications. You can set the different load classification, demand factors of the load, and then you can set, if you want to run the load calculation in spaces, you can select this checkbox. This is very important checkbox. And then for the panel schedules, you can have different kind of spare labels that you want to have, and the circuit naming. So with this, you have the electrical settings which is done, and now you are ready for creating different type of power circuits, adding lightings and cable trays into your model. In the next video, we are going to talk about how to add electrical equipments and the various parameters along with the families that you need to load for electrical equipments. Thank you. Please like our video and subscribe our channel.